Welcome back to the Record Player, everybody. Today, I am happy to have with me an insanely talented young singer-songwriter from Houston, Texas, who we featured here on TRP well over a year ago. And the response that we got was incredible. She's about to release her third EP, which is called Chapter 3, surprisingly enough. The Burning, it's called. Glad to be here with Madeline, the person in the Record Player. How are you, Madeline?
Hi, I'm really, really good. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. We know you're on Central Time, but where are you in Houston right now?
Yes, I'm in Houston, my childhood house right now, childhood room.
Well, and you're still there. You're still in your childhood room. A little
Yeah.
bit. I'd be out of there, but anyway. um, you're a busy girl. I know that because you got an awful lot going on right now with the new music coming out. So thank you so much for taking some time with us. The first time that I heard your music was coming out of my daughter's bedroom, probably almost 2 years ago. It was, I think you were singing Goo Goo Dolls, Iris. And the first thing I did was stick my head. She's actually really mad at me because she's such a huge fan of yours that she's just getting over COVID right now. So she's pissed because she wanted to come here and
Oh,
be a part of the interview, and I told her she couldn't. So I'm the bad guy. I'm sorry. But you were singing that song, and I stuck my head in, and the first thing I thought was, "Man, who is that?" Like her voice is absolutely incredible. Is that where this started for you? Was covers, doing covers online?
yeah, exactly. Yes. In like the thick of COVID, right when we all were in lockdown, I was just like chilling out. I just had gotten done with high school, uh, and I was 19 and just living life, very confused about what
Mhm.
was happening. So I was just like on TikTok, like we all were, kind of. Um, yeah, and I decided to post some covers, and from there bloomed a wonderful thing.
Um, in what made you decide that you wanted to put on some original stuff? I mean, doing covers is one thing, but putting your own stuff out there for people to hear could go either way.
Totally, yeah, exactly. It was totally experimental for me because I've always written music. I've written songs since I was like 10, just for like personal, just to get stuff out.
Mhm.
Um, as a like way of therapy and processing emotions and stuff. But in the thick of the pandemic, I was kind of like just doing whatever I wanted, and um, I felt like you could kind of do anything online. Like you could just be yourself online because you can't really leave the house. It's like your only way of like having fun is like having fun online. And I decided to just see if people liked it, if people responded well. I honestly was imagining that it wasn't going to be received well, just because it was so personal.
Thinking
And
the worst just in case.
no, yeah, that's kind of like how I do that.
I do.
um, yeah, it's easier.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and it just so happened to have really touched some people, which is really special and like all I've ever dreamed of. So I'm really glad I decided to share one day randomly.
In the old days, you played in bars and clubs until somebody noticed you. Social media has obviously replaced the bars and the clubs, but now you've got the attention of record labels when they see your new stuff come up. You get signed by Warner. Things obviously changed pretty quickly for you in a very big way. How did you stay grounded during all of that attention that you were suddenly getting?
There was a lot of no, yeah, it was a lot. Um, I suffer from imposter syndrome, so all of these things that were happening to me, I was like, that's not happening to me. Why would that happen to me? Um, Honestly, I literally think that's the only thing that kept me grounded because like I like just was in disbelief the entire time. I kind of still am. Yeah, it's just so wild and I have these like huge surges of like gratefulness, but the rest of the time I'm just like, how? Like what? Why? But yeah.
Well, you went from singing on TikTok to doing press tours. So I mean, things have
Yeah.
obviously changed. Instead of going into a studio and recording a full debut album, you chose to release EPs in stages. Was that your idea, or was that the record company who kind of had a plan for you going in?
Yes, that was my dream. That was like what we presented to labels because I was so passionate about it. I still am. I'm so excited that they let me do that, um, because I really had a story to tell, and it really only worked in little chapters and little like bite-sized pieces. And I feel like that's the easiest way for me to process those emotions, because it's like a group of emotions that are all really similar, and then another group, and then another group, and then all the story together. You can listen to all three EPs together, maybe a fourth one, um, and get the full picture. Yeah.
Um, First time I heard as a child, I was absolutely floored, mostly by your voice, which is, as I mentioned earlier, just phenomenal. You're unique and unlike anyone I've ever heard. But also the emotion of the songs, the emotion that you put into the songs. You said that they were very personal. It just knocks you to the floor listening to you sing those songs. Um, you were, how old were you? You mentioned when you started writing?
10.
10. And to have that kind of emotion at that young, was it, were you writing full songs, or was it just like kind of journaling, kind of in a diary?
Well, I was journaling much younger. Like I've always been a huge journaler. 10 was like when the songs started, and I was kind of like copying like, the verse, chorus, bridge, chorus thing that like I heard on the radio and through music. So yeah, I feel like it was always like, you know, structured that way for me.
Uh, I talked to this guy as another one, same thing, emotion. You wrote about the loss of your dad, which is hard to get through at any age, much less at such a young age as you, for anybody to have to go through that. Did you have any reservations of or fear about putting that kind of emotion and that kind of your feeling into your songs at such a young age, so early in your career?
I definitely had a fear of showing them to people. Um, but it was like all I really had at the time to make them. So I had just been like stacking up the sad songs by myself in my room. And that's like how I did it forever. And that's still my favorite way to do it. It's just like how like the deepest, like darkest things come out and they become beautiful all of a sudden. Um, yeah, uh, it was very scary, um, deciding to share with people.
Mhm.
I think it felt, especially in the pandemic, it felt really necessary. And I kind of wanted to like scream about my grief and my sadness. And I knew for a fact that other people wanted to. Um, so uh, I thought it was necessary. Yeah,
It's kind of the best therapy too, right? To kind of get it off.
it is. It is. It's insane. Like, I can't imagine not having this outlet.
Chapter two, the shedding, comes out after that. Different vibe from the first one. What was the progression from one to the other for you?
Yeah, so chapter one was, I think of it as like my little baby. Um, like it was like the growing up and the growing into myself. And then chapter two was more of like coming out of my cocoon, like really becoming who I am. Um, and it is like chronological, like in relation to like my life, which I think is pretty cool. And chapter three follows that as well, which is really exciting. Um, yeah.
From a songwriting standpoint, going from chapter one all the way now to chapter three, have the has your writing style changed at all? I mean, are you have you decided to try on different things, whether it's faster songs or different songs, or you did you worked with someone on chapter two, you did an actual duet for the first time working with someone and writing with different people. How is that progression going, and will it continue on to a chapter four?
Yeah, totally. I think it definitely will. It definitely has. Um, as I said, chapter one was totally just me in my bedroom, like writing all of them. I had never collaborated with anyone, and it was actually really scary for me to even like think of that. Um, and once I signed with Warner, um, we started sessions with other people, starting small with people that I really felt comfortable with. And then uh it's a really beautiful thing. Sometimes it really, really is still scary, because I'm really not used to sharing and writing in a space with other people, because usually it's just me.
Well, some
Um,
people are also good at it. Some people are good at taking other people's advice and listening to that and going, yeah, that's a great idea. And some people who
yeah,
are used to writing on their own are like, that's dumb. I like my
no,
own.
totally. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's a weird balance, because I feel like the way that I like interact with myself when I'm writing my own songs is um not a way I could interact with like other people in like a session. Um, so it's a completely different way of writing for me, but it's really opened me up to a lot of new sounds and like uh, even new like subjects. Like I feel like I possibly wouldn't be comfortable venturing out into maybe like angry or happy songs by myself because that's just not my default. Um, so I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, I definitely have been collaborating with a lot more people, writing with a lot more people, which is a lot different for me. Um, and it's definitely just going to continue that way. Yeah.
Good, good. How many, you mentioned that possibly another chapter. Does it stop at 4 chapters and then you decide to do things differently and maybe go in and do a full record? Have you guys discussed that at the?
That's still up for debate. I do think that it might be a four chapter story, you know? Um, we'll see though. We'll see.
I mentioned earlier about getting back, going out and playing anywhere that'll let you play, whether it's a club, a bar, a wedding. It didn't matter. Anybody would play anywhere to get noticed. You're now noticed. You're finally getting out to perform and tour and do the things a little bit backwards for you because you couldn't do that at the beginning. What's that experience been like, getting in front of people and getting a live reaction to the music?
Yeah, it's really, really special. I wasn't really expecting to love it as much as I do, um, because it's scary. It's so scary, because the people are right there, like literally so close to you, like literally inches away from you, and like I just want to put on the best show that I possibly can, and I think it was a little nerve-wracking knowing that I'm not like like a pop star. Like I'm not gonna like pump up the crowd and like we're not gonna like dance. Like it's kind of like we're having a sleepover and we're talking about our feelings. Like that's the vibe. Um, so just to know that and to witness people coming there and like being totally down for that, like really wanting to process their feelings and hear my songs and listen and sing with me, that was amazing. I think one of the shows on my last tour I think I heard and saw two girls singing my song back to me. I've never experienced that before, so it was insane. Um, yeah.
ha- have you gotten a lot of feedback, like whether it be emails or phone calls from fans, maybe not phone calls, but from fans kind of saying, thank you so much. I felt that same way because your music lends to bringing a lot of other people out of their shows.
Yes. Yes. I think that's like the best part ever. It's like my favorite thing. Like, um, it's kind of overwhelming because it's a lot of really personal stories, and it's not just like, oh, your music's so good. It's like this happened to me. I experienced grief, and you're helping me not feel as alone, which is like the most special ever. Yeah, it's just beautiful. People share their stories on my TikTok comments, which is like crazy. It's so cool. And yeah.
I mentioned that the part 3 of the EP is coming. Um, the first single is called "Mean." I saw the video the other day. The video is very your style, your sense of humor, your personality, definitely.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit about that song specifically.
Yeah. That song is I made it right after I there was an incident at a party I went to, and someone kind of took me aside and said something that just hurt my feelings so badly. Um, and I've experienced like things like that before, but I think at this stage in my life where I do feel a little bit more comfortable in my own skin, and I express myself that way,
Mhm.
it was so interesting to watch myself get so small after hearing those words. Um, so I wanted to like literally depict that in the video. Um, and yeah, it's about, you know, how words can, like a sentence can make you feel tiny, and how it's not always the truth, you know?
And that kind of thing can stick with you for a lifetime. It's sad, but it definitely can. Do we know when the new album is, the new EP is coming? When it's getting dropped?
It is still up for debate.
Oh, good. I was hoping to get a scoop here on the date.
I'm
Uh,
so sorry.
that's okay.
I was hoping to.
A couple of quick questions before we finish off. I love knowing what young people are listening to now. What's Madeline the person's favorite group? What are you listening to when you've got your record player
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the music that I listen to on my phone is like way different from what I listen to on my record player. But what I listen to on my record player is a lot of Big Thief,
on?
because it's just so it just hits you. A lot of Samia, um, and on my phone, I just made a playlist. Let me show you. I'll just read you some.
Playlist exclusive.
It's it's my newest playlist, and yeah, for some reason I'm feeling some Lana Del Rey right now. Um, it's like a moody little situation. I really like Lily Allen, um, and Chapel Roan. Maud Latour, she's also on my label. Uh, oh, Carol Addis is amazing. Rit Momney, Maggie Rogers. Those are my faves right now.
I love Maggie Rogers myself.
Mhm.
The If you had a chance to, you said you're not a pop star, but soon there's going to be people opening for you. I have that feeling. But if you had a chance to open for anyone else, who would it be? If you had kind of that dream gig that you could open for someone.
Mm. My mind goes straight to Joni Mitchell, but I'm not even sure if that's like plausible.
Well, it's probably
Like,
not possible, but I don't know if she's
yeah,
ever going to tour again, but you never know.
exactly. Yeah.
It
But
didn't
in
have
my
to.
wildest dreams, yes.
It didn't have to be realistic.
Okay,
That
good.
is a good dream to have. Um, if Joni was a little younger, I bet you it probably could happen as well. I know that we're going to be seeing your face all over the place. We look because you certainly have that huge star capacity ahead of you. I know that. We can expect to see a lot more coming from you. Thank you so much for spending time with us today on the record player. It's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you the best of luck with part 3 and look forward to part 4.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Madeline. Take care.